Miss Archer. They're expecting you in the briefing room.
Agent Archer, how thoughtful of you to join us. I hope we aren't inconveniencing you too awfully with matters of international security.
Not at all, Mr. Smith, but it's charming of you to mention it.
It is not my ambition to be charming.
Well, that's fortunate.
I would advise you to watch your tongue. Well, if it isn't the inimitable Agent Lowry.
Sorry I'm late, Smithy. You're looking dapper today.
Spare me the disingenuous flattery, old boy. It doesn't suit you.
I was being sincere. It was the one polite thing I could think to say.
You're still upset with me, aren't you? I assure you I have nothing against you personally. You've served us well for many years, but perhaps too many. I firmly believe it is in Unity's best interest that you retire from field operations, and I will continue to campaign to that end until you accept an administrative position.
I'm not upset with you, Smithy. I just don't like you. I do understand your concern, but just because you're too old for the field doesn't mean that I am. Until I'm declared unfit for duty, I will continue to prove it.
I retired voluntarily.
Of course you did.
Perhaps we should dispense with the pleasantries and get down to brass tacks.
Fine.
Lights, please. We lost another agent this afternoon, bringing the total to 7 operatives in 10 days. It is our firm belief that someone is systematically eliminating our undercover agents, which leads us to believe that the clandestine operations section has been compromised. It seems we have a traitor in our midst.
Do you suspect anyone?
We suspect everyone.
7 operatives. That's over half the active list. Why weren't we informed sooner?
You're being informed now. This situation has unfolded rather abruptly.
The assassin left a lily, a regal finale to be precise, on or near the corpse of each victim. Mean anything to either of you?
Volkov.
Who?
Dmitry Volkov. The regal finale is his calling card.
The name's familiar. What do we know about him?
He's a right bastard.
Anything more specific?
Just what's in his file. Born in Kamchatka in 1921. Distinguished himself as an academic prodigy and master chess player by the age of 8, by which time he'd also earned notoriety for refining various torture techniques on neighbors' pets. It seems he joined the NKVD in 1937 and served as some sort of disciplinarian in a gulag near Kiev. His whereabouts during the war are unknown except for a brief mention in 1943, when he was spotted by an OSS officer at Leningrad interrogating prisoners of war who would later disappear without a trace.
Ah, yes, I remember this fellow. We've had dealings with him before.
Sometime after the war, he emerged again, this time in the employ of Smersh. He's personally credited with well over 1,000 executions, spies and Soviet dissidents for the most part. In 1961, a failed assassination attempt left him without an eye. He was shot in the face at close range by one of our finest agents.
You flatter me, but I shouldn't have missed.
He escaped by throwing himself off a 70-foot cliff into an icy river. It was presumed that he survived, as no body was ever recovered. In fact, rumor has it, he's currently working for an organization calling itself HARM as Director of Executive Action. I don't have to tell you what that means.
What do we know about HARM?
Unfortunately, there's very little about them in our files.
Well, despite the obvious risks, we still have a job to do. In this case, a very important one.
Wet work.
Precisely. And after this recent catastrophe, the two of you are our only available assets.
To be perfectly frank, Agent Archer, you're only getting this assignment because we've no other choice. Matters of such delicacy aren't really the sort of thing we would usually entrust to a woman. Emotional inconstancy and assassination do not make especially good bedfellows, if you take my meaning.
I'll try to surpass your expectations.
Considering that I expect you to fail miserably, you shouldn't have to try very hard.
Enough of this. Time is of the essence. Stop by the toy shop before you go. They've some new gizmos you might find useful. Don't dally too long, though. Your flight leaves at 6 p.m.
Where are we going?
Morocco. Agent Archer, what does HARM stand for?
I haven't figured that out yet.
See if you can't find out. And be careful, both of you.
We strongly advise that you go through the training course before embarking on your first mission. There are many nuances and features you may overlook otherwise.